My in-laws always said they were just joking when they insulted me. On my birthday, they gifted me a cleaning set with a note that read, "You're good at something at least." I didn't cry. I just took the set home, cleaned the house top to bottom, took photos, then left. The next time they visited, the house was empty, except for a single card, "Clean break." I'm not really the kind of person who tells people off. I hold things in. That's just how I was raised. Keep the peace. Don't rock the boat. Smile, even if it hurts. But that all changed on my 39th birthday. It's been a long time coming, really. My name's Tessa, and I live in Fort Collins, Colorado. Been here since I was 23. Met my husband, Jake, at a used bookstore downtown 7 years ago. He was in the aisle next to mine, arguing with someone on the phone about Dostoevsky. We laughed about it later. Fell hard, fast. Moved in together 6 months later. Married within the year. Jake's a good man. Or at least, I thought he was. His family, though. I should have run the moment I met his mother. Rick and Donna. Two people who act like they came from money, even though they live in a split-level ranch with plastic lawn chairs on the porch. Donna always has a glass of white wine in her hand, even at noon. Rick watches Fox News like it's gospel. They think they're clever. Funny. Old school, as they put it. But they're just mean. The very first dinner, Donna squinted at me like she was trying to figure out what I was. I'm half Mexican, but I don't really talk about it much. She asked, "So what kind of name is Tessa?" Exotic, huh? I laughed it off. Thought maybe she was just nervous. Then Rick piped in, "She doesn't look exotic. She looks tired. You keeping Jake on his toes." Laughter. Cold, mocking laughter. Jake tried to change the subject. I forced a smile. That became the pattern. Every family gathering. More digs, more jokes. Donna once handed me a Swiffer and said, "Just trying to help you feel more at home." Another time, when I brought green bean casserole to Thanksgiving, she pushed it to the back of the table and said, "Some traditions don't need a remix, sweetie." Jake would tell me, they just have a weird sense of humor. But it wasn't humor. It was cruelty. I kept trying. I baked for them. Sent birthday cards. Remembered anniversaries. I even helped them move furniture during a remodel. Donna joked, "You lift better than Jake. You sure you weren't raised on a ranch?" I laughed. But something inside me cracked. This all came to a head on my birthday last month. I was turning 39. I had a full day planned. I took the day off work. Jake promised to grill steaks. I baked my own cake because I knew Donna would bring some store-bought dry thing no one wanted. I cleaned the house like I always did before they came over. Vacuumed, polished, lit candles. They were 20 minutes late. No apology. Rick walked in with a six-pack and a grunt. Donna, bright-eyed and smug, handed me a big red bag. "Happy birthday, darling. We saw this and thought of you immediately." Everyone watched me open it. It was a cheap plastic cleaning set. A bright red mop, gloves, a dustpan, brush, and a bottle labeled Super Scrub. The kind of junk you buy at Dollar Tree for someone you don't like. Inside was a card that read, "You're good at something at least." They both burst out laughing. Jake's face went white. "Jesus, Mom. Oh, come on." Donna said, "It's a joke. Lighten up." I didn't say a word. I just smiled. A real, wide smile that scared even Jake a little. "Thank you," I said. "This is very thoughtful." We ate dinner. I barely tasted the food. I kept glancing at that bag, still sitting on the edge of the couch like some red monster. When they left, Donna gave me a big hug and said, "We love you, you know. You're part of the family." I smiled again. Of course I am. As soon as the door shut, I looked at Jake. "I'm going to Rachel's. Just for a few days." He sighed. "Tess, I'm not mad," I said. "I just need some air." He nodded. "Okay. Just don't let it eat you up." But I wasn't going to Rachel's. I checked into a cheap little motel off I 25, and just sat on the bed staring at the ceiling fan, thinking. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I just felt empty. And then I had an idea. I went back home the next morning while Jake was at work. I brought the cleaning kit in with me. I used every single item in that bag. I cleaned that house top to bottom like it was a crime scene. I scrubbed baseboards, polished tile, even dusted the ceiling fans. I steamed carpets, Windexed windows. I left the place shining. Then I walked room to room, taking photos. The kitchen, the hallway, the bedroom, the living room, the guest room. Clean, spotless, gleaming. And then I packed. Not just clothes. Everything. My grandmother's china. My mother's jewelry. My books, my tools, my records, my wedding dress. I took every picture off the walls. Every piece of silverware I'd brought into the marriage. The couch. The rug. The coffee maker. The dining table. All mine. I didn't touch Jake's things. Not one. I left them all perfectly arranged, like a museum exhibit. When I was done, the house looked like a model home. Pristine, but empty. Then I placed one thing on the kitchen island, a single white card with black ink. It said, "Clean break." When Jake came home that night, I didn't see it, but I know exactly how it played out. I know him well enough to picture it. He'd have walked in with his keys jangling, expecting the smell of leftover garlic bread, or maybe candles still burning. Maybe even expecting me to be on the couch, scrolling my phone. Instead, he would have stepped into a cold, echoing house. Empty walls. No couch. No pictures. No signs of me. Just that one card sitting there on the counter. I didn't call him. I didn't answer his texts. I blocked his number the next morning. Then his emails started. "What the hell, Tessa? Where are you? Is this because of the gift?" They were joking. "Talk to me." I didn't reply. Not for a week. I needed space. I needed silence. I stayed at a rental on the edge of Boulder. A quiet place up in the hills where I could see snow caps and hear myself think. It felt good. Really good. But Jake didn't give up. After a week of nothing, he drove out to Rachel's house looking for me. She told him the truth. She hadn't seen me. Hadn't even spoken to me since the dinner. That's when he started calling people. Friends. Coworkers. Even my sister down in Pueblo. They all told him the same thing. I was fine. Just taking time for myself. Then Donna emailed me. Subject: "Let's not be silly, Tessa. Whatever this is, it's gone too far. You've made your point." Very clever, very dramatic. But you're hurting Jake. And us. And yourself. We're family. Families argue. But they talk. They forgive. They move on. Come back home. We'll forget this ever happened. Love. Donna, that was the last straw. Come back home? Forget this ever happened? This woman had humiliated me in front of my husband over and over again. Mocked my clothes, my cooking, my body. And now she wanted to pretend none of it happened? I snapped. I replied to her email with one sentence. "You made me feel worthless in my own home." I got no response. But the next day, Jake showed up at the rental. I watched from behind the curtain as he stood outside my door. He knocked, waited, knocked again. His face looked like he hadn't slept in days. Finally, he slid a letter under the door and left. I didn't touch it for hours. When I finally read it, my hands were shaking. "Tessa, I don't know how to fix this. I know you're hurt. I know I didn't protect you. I didn't stand up for you. I didn't make them stop. I was afraid. Afraid of making things worse. Afraid of facing them. So I let it go on. I thought ignoring it made it smaller. I was wrong. They were cruel to you. I see it now. And I hate that it took this for me to get it. But please, come back. Let's figure this out. Not for them. For us. I love you. I still do. I always will." Jake, part of me wanted to cry when I read that. Part of me wanted to tear it up and throw it in the fire. I didn't do either. Instead, I took a photo of the letter and sent it to my lawyer. Because here's what I haven't said yet. Before I packed that house, I spoke to someone. A divorce attorney. We talked for hours. I showed him the texts, the emails from Donna, even the video clips I had taken over the years on my phone, short moments during dinners where their jokes turned sharp. One clip from Christmas where Donna said, "Don't you have something better to wear?" and Rick laughed so hard he choked. The lawyer told me something I didn't expect, that emotional cruelty, especially when combined with a pattern of exclusion and humiliation, can absolutely support an at-fault divorce. And in Colorado, that can mean a lot when it comes to property and alimony. So I had started the process the day after my birthday. I'd filed. Jake didn't know that yet, but he would soon. I didn't plan on seeing Jake again. I thought we were done. But then Rachel called me 2 days later. Her voice was shaky. "Did you see the Facebook post?" she asked. "No," I said. "What post?" "From Donna. You need to check." Now, I hadn't been on social media since leaving, but I still had a burner account I used to peek sometimes. I logged in. There it was. Donna's profile picture, smiling big with a glass of wine in her hand, standing next to Jake. The caption on her latest post? "Some people can't handle real love, but we stand strong through lies and drama. Jake deserves peace and a real family." Hashtag no more crazy, hashtag family first, hashtag we know the truth under it. Dozens of likes and comments from their friends, neighbors, some extended family I'd met once or twice. "You're right, Donna. That girl was never good enough. I always thought she was ungrateful. Who walks out like that?" Team Jake. Stay strong. I didn't even know these people. And they were picking sides. Donna had taken our private pain and fed it to her friends like gossip at a country club brunch. She didn't just insult me anymore. She painted me as unstable, manipulative, fake. I didn't cry, but my hands were trembling when I took a screenshot and sent it to my lawyer. He called within the hour. "You might want to come in. This just became a very different case. See, Colorado is a no-fault state officially, but evidence of mental cruelty or defamation can still play a role in mediation." And when that post hit the internet, Donna gave me ammunition I hadn't even asked for. But that wasn't the worst of it. 3 days later, Jake showed up again. This time, I opened the door. He looked rough, dark circles, unshaven, thinner. "Tess, please, can we talk?" I let him in. He sat on the edge of the couch, hunched, fidgeting with the hem of his shirt. "I saw the post," he said. "I'm sure you did. I didn't know she was going to do that. I didn't ask her to." "You didn't stop her either," I said. "I told her to take it down." "Did she?" "No," he whispered. I stared at him. I wanted to believe he was still the man I married, but I didn't recognize him anymore. Then he said it. "I went back to the house. I know you took everything, but there's something missing." I raised an eyebrow. "What's that?" "My laptop. The one with my business accounts." I froze. "I didn't take your laptop," I said slowly. He stared at me. "It's gone." We looked at each other in silence. Someone had been inside the house. "Did you call the police?" I asked. "No," he said. "Because I think my mom took it." My jaw tightened. "Why would she do that?" He looked ashamed. "Because she told me she'd protect me no matter what. She said she'd help me get through this and get the house back." "Get the house back?" I asked. "It was mine too." "I know." I told her that. "But she thinks if we can prove you were unstable, that you stole from me, that she can help me fight you in court. She thinks she's helping. That's not helping. That's manipulating you." He buried his face in his hands. "I know." We sat in silence. I could hear the wind outside picking up. "You need to choose," I finally said. "Her or me. Because you can't have both." "Not anymore." He didn't answer. And that in itself was the answer. Jake left that day without saying goodbye. I watched him walk to his car, shoulders slumped like the weight of his family was still pressing down on him. And I realized right then he'd never change. He was too scared to. Too soft to break away from them. I don't think he ever hated me, but he never loved me enough to fight for me either. A week later, the court papers were filed and delivered. Donna tried to call me 3 times. I blocked her. Then I sent my lawyer every screenshot of her Facebook slander, her emails, and texts. We submitted everything. My lawyer was surgical in the mediation. The judge looked through everything. The pictures of the empty house, the cleaning set gift, the card I'd left behind, and the public social media attack. Donna tried to speak, tried to cry, tried to play the victim. The judge cut her off. This isn't a comedy roast, Mrs. Grant. It's a divorce hearing. Jake stayed quiet the whole time. He didn't defend her. He didn't defend me. He just sat there like a shell. In the end, I was granted the house, most of our shared assets, temporary alimony, a restraining order against Donna for harassment. Jake didn't even argue. As we left the courtroom, Donna hissed at me in the hallway. "You think you won? You'll always be alone. People like you can't keep love." I looked her dead in the eye. "I'd rather be alone than sit next to someone like you for one more holiday." She opened her mouth to say something else, but Jake pulled her away. That was the last time I saw either of them. It's been 6 months. The house is quiet now. Peaceful. I painted the living room a soft green. Got a dog named Mabel. I put the same photos back on the walls, but this time, only ones that made me happy. Sometimes I still get messages from people who were friends with Jake and Donna. Messages like, "Hope you're doing okay," or "We didn't know it was that bad." I don't answer them. And one time, just once, I ran into Rick at the grocery store. He saw me, paused, and looked like he was about to say something. But then he just turned and walked the other way. Good. Because here's the thing about breaking. When you finally do it, after years of being chipped at, you don't shatter. You cut. And when the people who mocked me finally saw what I could do when I stopped laughing along, they bled. Clean break. Sharp edges. No regrets.